go do crack now. Things
Nice.
are escalating up there. No.
Snort a line off a stripper's ass while you're at it. All right, welcome back to the channel. This is Popcast, episode 7. Today we're going to talk about a little more GTA. I know it comes up every week. I'm getting tired of it myself. Sony releases some sales figures on their PS5, and apparently the Switch N64 Sega games have some issues. This week we're missing a couple people. I'm your host, Chris. We got the MatMan on the line.
Hello, everybody. How are you this week?
And returning, what is this, third, fourth week in a row? BlockBusterTime, also known as Timmy.
In the house.
You know, at this point, stop saying returning. He's never going anywhere. He's a mainstay.
Well, I didn't know he was going to be here every week. It was hard to get him on the first time, and now it's like he's always there, which is nice. All right, so first up, let's get the GTA news out of the way. We're getting tired of GTA, so let's just throw it out there. GTA San Andreas was announced for Oculus Quest 2, which I believe is the first entry they have into VR. So I think that's kind of cool. I know, Matt, you have an Oculus. Would you buy San Andreas again? When you're probably
plan on getting this.
Even though you're probably going to play it on Game Pass, I'm guessing as well.
Oh yeah, because I already paid for the Game Pass. So I don't consider that buying. I guess I consider that a perk of having Game Pass. But no, 1,000% play it on my Oculus. I'll buy it again for that.
What about you, Tim? You haven't jumped back in GTA for quite some time.
No,
Would
I
you
won't
try
be
it
for GTA. Well, here's the thing. I really enjoy GTA. I have nothing against Grand Theft Auto. It's just I don't think that having it on Oculus is going to be any different for me or making it more exciting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, with that being said, would you try these older games that are being remastered for the current generation?
I'll tell you what would be one of the coolest games, in my opinion, to use with the Oculus is if I could use Madden, but be the quarterback and actually see.
Oh yeah,
on the
like
field.
almost like those old passer drills.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that would be so cool. I'm into that.
Yeah.
There was a football game that had a first person like that. I don't remember. It was back in the day.
It was It was like.
Was it 2K?
The last 2K game. What do they call it? The fisheye lens mode, but they weren't calling it first person. They were saying fisheye lens.
But it seemed like it. You
They
actually
put you
saw
behind
like
a
the
helmet.
face mask and everything.
Yeah. So it had a helmet filter to it, and yeah, I remember playing it at my buddy's house when we were kids. And I was like, "This is so cool." Meanwhile, it was probably dog shit if you tried again this, in 2021.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably not. Doesn't hold up now. Well, in other
No.
news about GTA, they also said that Snoop Dogg let out some info on a podcast, and he stated that Dr. Dre is laying down some more music, but this time it's connected to GTA because he said he's making music specifically for GTA. Now, we know some of their license, expire and everything, and Snoop Dogg said it's an upcoming game. He did not say if it was the trilogy, if it's GTA 6, or if it's just GTA Online, like if they're just trying to get more music.
Maybe it could be something with GTA 5 Online, but I think it might be because Dr. Dre was pretty big in the 90s. A San Andreas song.
That could be.
For the VR.
Yeah, because he said it was for a new GTA. He didn't say where or what.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. And he believed that Dr. Dre was making this music and he was going to release it first on the video game. You know what I mean? Instead of actually releasing the music and stuff, on a MP3 or a CD or whatever, he was actually going to release it through the game radio station first, which I thought was a really interesting way to tie music and gaming together.
He's Dr. Dre. He does whatever he wants. You know what I mean?
He's the rock star of music.
Well, at this point, he hasn't put out a new album in 12 years or something crazy. I mean, it's been a long time. I'm saying 12 years, I know that for a fact, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. I'm not sure.
Why does he need to?
That's what.
Well, he doesn't.
Right. He doesn't. He's a billionaire. He doesn't. So whenever he's releasing first to the GTA game, that's probably just him going hey, I respect the game. I like the game. I'll put it here first. If you want to hear it, go get the game.
So moving on, we got numbers in from Sony. Now this was more a story for Fran, who couldn't be with us today. But basically, Sony broke another record, selling 13.4 million PS5s in just under a year, I believe. And they sold 3.3 million just from July to September. Now, I know a lot of scalpers are getting these and stuff, but I think that proves that consoles, I get PCs the greater platform. But I think consoles are going to be around for a long time. And Fran always brings up his 8 years. 8 years from now, 8 years. I still think we're going to have consoles 8 years from now. They might not be any better.
I've been saying I don't think it's a console form. I think it's going to go to like the cloud gaming, or it's going to go to like how Steam did the thing years ago, where they tried to put out that like
their
base
own
PC
console.
you could hook up to your TV. It was just
but that's what I'm saying. Like
from your PC, I think it's gonna be something similar to that.
Yeah, I just think there's still a market though for people where you just plug a box into
Kids,
a TV.
Kids. Anything affordable for your children is gonna always be around. That's why Switch does so well, because it's an affordable console that kids enjoy.
Yeah,
So
I would like.
I think Fran's wrong. I don't think consoles are going anywhere, but I also don't think they're gonna be the popular one 8 years from now.
No, and I agree with that. Like right now, even as powerful as my Series X is, you guys have advantages on PC that I still don't have, even in games like Warzone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So PC is always going to be ahead, especially with the modding community.
Well, I think too right now with the Series X, the same thing happened with the Xbox One, is when it came out, adopting or importing all of those new games over, or like because right now, like see Battlefield for example, it's coming out, it's being made for the Xbox One and for the Series X. You know what I mean? It's being made.
Yeah,
for
it's kind of cutting your legs off.
They're kind of exactly. So they're kind of up-resing for it.
But staying in line with Sony, they also introduced a PlayStation PC brand because of several of their games are being ported over to PC, such as Horizon Zero Dawn, Death Stranding, Days Gone. It appears they're planning to bring more games over by creating this branding and logo. I mean, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a long time. I think it's only smart to just put your game on everything. Every platform you can, just make the most money, maximize your profit. Why not?
But anyway, yeah, so I think they're going to bring a lot more games to PC. One of the high-level executives were saying, we released the game, like you figure not Gears of War, God of War is going to be almost 4 years old when it comes to PC. So it's like they got their money on PlayStation, it pushed system sales, and now they're able to tap into another market and get the game to more people.
I am 1,000% going to buy God of War.
Why? It was a great game.
God of War 4 might have been the best game I've played since BioShock Infinite. I loved it.
It was really good.
I
think it's funny that BioShock Infinite was your favorite.
It's still my all-time favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that they expand Sony making this brand.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, like going forward right now, nobody can even get a PS5.
Well, that's what makes me happy is now, are we going to get these same day launches, or is it going to be a little bit after? I wouldn't. So is it going to be the same thing years down the road? Am I going to get it 4 years after?
I'm guessing it'll be like a year or two down the road. I mean, it'd be great if it wasn't. It'd be great if it launched.
So maybe it's still worth me, because I'm to the point where I only want a PS5 for Spider-Man 2 and God of War Ragnarok. And I'm to the point where I'm just going to sneak into my sister's house and steal my nephew's one night. So,
well, the bad part is you still can't even find them. Like, people are still fighting scalpers trying to get them. What about you, Tim? Do you miss PlayStation? I think the last one you owned was PS3, right?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, for me, it's just a blurred line. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's just those exclusives that get me.
I got you.
It's it, but I understand where you're coming from.
Controller's a little different. I get that, but as far if the games are offered on the same consoles, which it's starting to be such a blur, what's it matter?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the exclusive thing needs to. I think what I think, Chris. The exclusive content's gonna go away sooner than consoles will go away. I agree. We're starting to, because like Xbox kind of is. I mean, they're obviously not gonna lend their AAA stuff to Sony yet, but they're already putting it on PC the same day as console. So they don't really care about selling their games to one market as it is. So I could see if Sony would accept those games and they could share profit on them. I could see that coming sooner than consoles going away.
Well, sticking with what Fran always asks, 8 years from now, I mean, it could be a different landscape. Like you were saying about the exclusives going away, and that's been Microsoft, well, mainly Phil Spencer's big sticking point. He wants to get rid of these lines that divide us. And he even tried to bring Game Pass to PlayStation and to the Switch.
And
In
that
fact,
animosity. Oh,
well,
God,
they
I'm
were the
sorry.
ones that
Let me
brought
finish.
Sony into cross-platform play because Sony didn't want to do it, and
Yeah, that's what I
Microsoft was all about it and dragged
That's
them right
exactly what I
into
was
it.
gonna say. Microsoft, when they bought Minecraft years ago and they wanted to do crossplay, Nintendo hopped on board immediately. They're like, "Yeah, we're down." PC, obviously, Microsoft just threw it in their store, and then
Yep.
Sony just outright refused. They're like, "No, we're not doing that."
Yeah,
So, but why?
they dragged them kicking and screaming. I don't
Like
know. That's
Minecraft's already on your thing. Just let other people play with who they want to play with on no matter what console they're using. And Sony just like, "Nah, I'm not down for that." It's so weird because Sony seems to be the one that always wants to start the problem. Like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing that. Why? What are you
it's
like?
just
What are you
like
saving?
I
Like, are
was
you
gonna say
trying
it
to
was like
keep
their
this
games
console
on
war
PC,
going?
but it's not. Yeah, it seems like they're trying to keep the division up. Maybe it's good for business. I don't know. I mean,
I think the console wars finally ended to a point. Like it's
yeah,
so over now.
I think we're on the downhill swing, getting away from
oh
it.
yeah.
You know what's interesting though? What you just described is a sales technique that gets people into trouble all the time, and it's called extreme positioning. And I can't stand whenever people have to be on the other end, right? Like you've got to be so angry about it. You're taking a hard stance. You're not willing to make
It's like
consensus.
an arrogance. Like you think
Yeah.
you're better or something. I don't know.
It's
It's
be
so
open to it,
strange.
man. I'll bust it out again. I think I did it on 2 podcast episodes ago, and I talked about a Harvard Business Review article about when to work with your rivals. And until they can understand to play fair and understand that you could win off of each other. It can be win-win. It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. They're always going to be shooting themselves in the foot. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I understand, and that's the thing. I don't understand why. Like Sony is so like they really resist working with Microsoft. And you saw that with the PC, games being ported over. Like why did it take them 4 years to get God of War on there? I mean, I think 1 or 2 years would have been good. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yeah.
that first year or two is going to sell your system. After that, sales are going to slow, and then you're going to see games
Why
on
even
sale.
wait that long though? Go through 6 months. You know
Well,
what I mean? If you,
yeah, even 6
I feel
months.
like
Like I know they want some
have a
gap.
massive. They
Like, they
probably have
want
a massive
some.
drop off after 3 months of that game's sales. You know?
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there is a drop off. Right now, it's a little different. This is kind of like the exception of the rule, only because nobody can even get a PS5 right now. But otherwise, you're right. After a couple months, I think the sales would drop off pretty good. So, well, we were talking about the Switch the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
So the Switch,
the N64 game.
they have the N64 and the Sega games, but a lot of players are mad right now because the price increased from $20 a year to $50. So more than double, but you get some N64 games and some Sega games. We're talking a handful, not even a lot. And now players are trying to play them. They're getting input lag. They're getting audio delays, issues with music playback. They're even getting weird issues where like the A and B button are being switched and they can't remap the controllers. They're having all these problems. And so I'm asking like what should Nintendo do? Obviously, the price is too high for this, I think. I think we all decided that a couple weeks ago. But at the same time, now with all these issues, I feel like they should go back and rework this, like redo something. Because obviously it's not working out for them in the long run. I mean, I don't want to pay the money, especially when the games are having problems. Like, literally, you're getting 9 Nintendo 64 games for $30 more a year. Like, and they're old games. It's not like these are like unreleased N64 games.
I said this weeks ago. I think it's stupid. I'm not gonna spend the extra money on it.
And I just feel like with all these problems, like what can they do to fix it? Besides fixing it, but I mean, they need to do something to earn back some goodwill.
GameCube games, I think, would change a lot of people's minds because they haven't released them a second time since the GameCube. So
That's
like
a good
Mario
point.
Sunshine, Pokemon Stadium, people talk about that game still a lot. Like that was probably a lot of people's favorite Pokemon game. Put that back out. I don't know what they're doing with those games too, like why they're holding on to them so close to the chest. I think I did see though, like GameCube's resale still really high, so maybe people were like You know, well, that would actually benefit them. Never mind, their resale's super high on the GameCube still. Like if you go look it up on eBay right now,
Yeah, why
they're
don't
still
they
selling
push
for a
that?
really high price. So why would you not try to re-release these games? And you could do it at like a $30 price point, and people are still gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that again.
Yeah, I gotta say, I agree with you, Matt. Like eh, there's so much money to be made in selling it again, right? Like a Nintendo coming out. If you had regular Nintendo coming out again, even at a smaller price range, those people for the historic value, they're gonna buy it. Like I'd buy
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
like right now,
Yeah.
I'm looking at Amazon. You can buy one off of a private seller, $115. And
that's
like
a good point.
that's under just like that's used and good. There's more from like $90, 118, 120. Like they're selling for these prices still. I mean, like imagine spending $100 on a GameCube today. That's still, to me, I don't know how much a PS2 would cost right now, but a 15-year-old console and still selling at $100 is, there's still buzz around it. You know, there's still people wanting to play it.
I agree. And that's my other point. So, would they be better off just selling these games individually that you could actually just download it and play it versus having to pay this $50 a year subscription?
Um, Wait, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Well, like you
I
were
was
saying
looking
about
at
the
something on
GameCube
the
games
TV.
are being so expensive, would it be better for them to just sell like the individual games, like you can download them and play them
Oh,
for like
yeah,
20,
I
30
think,
bucks versus
yeah.
playing all
I think
this?
that'd be smarter for their business, like, because they're gonna make more money that way. But for a consumer standpoint, no, I think it'd be cool if they just put it out for us to, through their Nintendo Pass or whatever.
Well, see, I think that would make it more worth it for $50 a year. Because 9 Nintendo 64 games and a handful of like Sega games, that's not hooking me. You know, I'm not like, oh, I'm not on board with that.
Nah,
Like
it's
I
not
don't
gonna
think
get me to
that's
do
worth
anything.
it.
Nah, that seems ridiculous.
I'll just stay with the $20 a year and play Super Nintendo.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I miss Super Nintendo. That's when days were easy.
Nostalgia, man. It costs you a lot of money. I just spent how much on that arcade machine?
You'll get me
uh,
on nostalgia 9 times out of
Oh,
10.
yeah, I was wondering why'd you buy that? It literally arrived at home today and it's massive.
did it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it sent to my parents' house, like all my stuff, because, well, before I never trusted getting
Just
it
easier.
delivered anywhere in the city. But so what happened was, we'll get off on a little tangent here. Growing up, I went to the arcade and I played this game called XMen Arcade. It's a 4-player arcade cabinet, and it was a fun game at the time. And you pick like from 8 different characters, and 4 people could play at once, and it was a lot of fun. This game was never released on any console system, not as a port or anything. And then years later, fast forward to like last year, I was trying to buy one like used, like an older cabinet that I could restore. And I was looking, and man, they're like $5,000-6,000, and I'm like, that's too much money. Like I'm not paying that kind of money. So now, fast forward to this summer. Well, it was a little earlier, maybe like April, and Arcade One Up, a company that makes like different arcade cabinets and games and stuff. They actually had it. They said, "Hey, XMen Arcade, we're selling it." And so I was like, oh, I got to order this. And I looked into it. It comes with X-Men and it comes with 2 other games. And it's a full stand-up arcade. You got to put it together. And it's 4-player. And you plug it in and you can run these 3 different games you can play on it. I think you can actually jailbreak it and put other games on it. But still, I was like, this is great. I can
Oh,
play
that's
this
cool.
game.
So you can actually go in and put your own software back in. That's sick.
I
like
believe
that a
so.
lot.
And so I was like, I have to have this. So like, taxes and everything all said and done, it was about $800. And then I had to wait. It got
Oh.
delayed because of COVID.
See, you're
Oh.
saying
So-
Ulf, but I'm like, I know how much those like cabinets can be.
Well, that's
You
what
can
I
put other
said, like-
games on it. That's not a bad price at all.
And it
For a
has
stand-up one,
Wi-Fi.
too.
So if you have
For a
no one to
stand-up
play
one?
with, you
Yeah.
can play wirelessly on the internet with people. But like if you look at the real one, like I said, for me to buy one and restore it, just to buy it was going to be $5,000 or $6,000. Not to
Yeah,
mention
that's true.
getting it to me and then trying to restore it. So for this, I was able to pay $800. They built it. I mean, I have to put it together. It just comes in a big box, but it's a piece of nostalgia. It also comes with a, I believe I get a stool and I get like a light up thing and a riser to lift it up higher.
Yeah.
So it comes with
it
some
came
stuff.
a
It's
stool.
not like, It's
Dude, it
not a
came with
total
skull,
wash.
too? I mean, I'm
Oh
in.
yeah, it came with the X-Men
Especially
skull.
you're telling me now, especially you can get more games on it, so it doesn't have to just be.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
well,
you could. I'm
that's
pretty sure
awesome.
you can jailbreak it and just. It's just like the SNES Mini where I jailbroke it and I put RetroArch, I put NES games on it, Sega games, and I could play them all right on my TV, through an HDMI. All right, now moving on to the new age. Age of Empires 4 was released this week, and it's off to a great start. On Thursday, it hit its highest concurrent player count on Steam of 54,239 people playing. And that does not include Game Pass and the Microsoft Store. So they already surpassed their personal best on Age of Empires 2, which was only 38,000. So I think it's interesting that a game, now maybe this plays some on nostalgia because people liked, the old Age of Empires. And I liked one, I think I played the third one. I liked it, was pretty good. But now here the fourth one comes out and they already broke their personal record of most players. Like I thought that was pretty interesting. Good for them. Claps all around.
Yeah, that's
Claps all around. Clap, 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 clap.
Did you try it yet, Matt?
No, I'm gonna go download it because I never played it, but my brother-in-law was telling me his dad played it whenever I think the third one came out. The third one came out years ago, right?
Yeah, it's old.
So he played
at
the
least
third
10
one,
years, 12 years.
Years ago, and he said like Ryan said he played it a little bit, and he said he loved it. So I'm a big fan of those kind of strategy games. Like I played a ton of Civilization and stuff, so I think I'm gonna give that a shot.
I have to say the third one was pretty good. I like the idea. So Tim, since you don't know, it's kind of like Command and Conquer. It's a real-time strategy game. You control like the units and move them around and stuff. But what's interesting about Age of Empire, you start off in like the Stone Age with like sticks and stones or whatever it was, and you go up through the years to like the Industrial Age and then like the Sci-Fi Age and all this stuff. And as you upgrade everything, like you get eventually you get laser guns and flying things and all this stuff. And I thought that was really interesting and fun. I really liked that aspect of it, like going through the decades and everything. Last week, we talked about games to movies and how they were trying to make Uncharted into a movie. We thought it would be successful. I thought it looked pretty good. This week, however, we got some information that A Quiet Place was announced. It's a game. It's going to be a game now. Developed by, they're making it a game developed by Logica, a Montreal studio I never heard of, and published by Saber Interactive, which I did hear of before. And I'm just curious, can this succeed? Like, to me, that's kind of an odd genre to pick. Like, I mean, yeah, you got the survival horror right off the bat. That's easy. But like, I don't know, The Quiet Place, is this just going to be Last of Us, but instead of clickers, you're going to have like, the monsters that they have in that and you can't make a noise? I mean, I don't know. You guys think that could be successful?
Oh, go ahead, Matt.
No,
No.
I think a game lives and dies on its mechanics, and if they don't bring an actual game and they're just coming with a story, then it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Like, if they're just bringing like just the story in and then trying to build around that, and like try to tie everything into it, mechanics into it and stuff, and it just doesn't. Usually they don't click. They don't work together too well. Like, usually a game is built from the ground up is going to work way better than one that's just kind of ported from an idea.
I'm trying to think. Have there been any game to movies recently?
I'm looking right now.
Oh
on
my
the
God,
Wikipedia page.
that's the first thing I was going to say. So you're talking about game to movies. I mean, we can name how many ones that have failed just doing that. Let's go.
Well,
Doom, Max Payne. Like.
Well, that's different. Doom and Max Payne were successful games, and when they went to movies, they went to trash. But I'm saying this is a movie going to a game.
No, hold on. You let me finish my point.
Oh, sorry.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, movies to games, because you always hear about the games to movies. Movies to games. Tell me one that was successful. Tell me one that happened.
Wait, I'll tell you one.
Jason did recently.
I'll tell you one that I.
No, that was a. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll go with that.
I just think it was the era, and there wasn't anything around to really compete it. But the Harry Potter games, like 1 to 3, were really fun on the PS2.
So the most recent one I can think of is that Friday the 13th that Matt talked about. What was it, 2 years ago?
Okay, wait. That wasn't based on one specific movie. That was kind of built around like
the idea.
Well, and it's built around the like what's the like the whodunit style games where like one person has the at the beginning of the game it randomly picks who you are. So like one person has that chance to be Jason. That's what makes that game fun. It's like you have the
That
chance to be the guy to kill all your friends, and like
I
Yeah.
really want to play that
you could
game.
swap the skins of that game. You could make that a Freddy Krueger game. You could make that a Michael Myers game. That
Yeah.
game that worked because of the mechanics. That's what I was saying. Like the mechanic in the game of how you play it. That what I'm saying that if that mechanic isn't there, like on this new game or what is it, The Quiet Place, if that fun game isn't in this story, it ain't gonna work. I think you have to have a game first with certain mechanics and the way things work, and then you can put any story into it. But if it's not gonna be there, this won't work.
Yeah.
Well, and going off that even further though, like Quiet Place, they had a good first movie. I like the second movie. I really, shout out to Emily Blunt and her husband. I think they're fantastic.
John Krasinski
Um,
is the man.
Dude, he is just taking over. He's doing so
The
well.
man.
I love it. But my problem is going, okay, just like you said, Chris, going to the context of the game, you can't make a noise. That's the whole thing. They literally have the least amount of dialogue verbally
In any movie.
In any movie. So like I don't understand how you're gonna get scared. It's just gonna be things coming out. You're gonna hear it coming because this thing's super fast. It's gonna kill you. And then what's gonna be the online multiplayer option, right? Because if
Well, I
that's
don't
the
know
nice
if
part
it's
about Jason, you
online.
can
They
do-
just said the game was being made. They didn't say if it was online.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you referenced Jason, and what's great about Jason is because it does have the online multiplayer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
But
like
Jason
you can
doesn't
go
have a
on
single
there.
player; it's only multiplayer.
Yeah, which is even cooler. I mean,
Oh.
Yeah.
you could just give it to your friends.
You know what?
Like,
They had
it's not-
Aliens
Absolutely.
also. Alien Isolation was a
And like
movie port.
we played that last. I think it was not last year. The year right before COVID changed our lives and ruined everything. We
Ruined
played it
everything.
that Halloween, and like we played it for like maybe a few days, like on a weekend or something. We would play for a couple hours. It was a really really good time. But like I said though, if it was a Michael Myers game, it'd still be just as fun.
Yeah,
Like, it
oh,
wasn't
yeah.
it wasn't the characters in the game that made it. It was the game itself.
Hey, I got another one for you though, to do a quick divert, and I know this wasn't on the notes, but it just it's becoming more apparent that they just got to remake everything that's good. Like they brought up Halloween again. Jamie Lee Curtis is somehow still alive, and she's doing it. I think it's cool. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like, all right, now you have a new Scream movie coming out with Nev Campbell. Love Scream, but that's from the 90s, guys. What's going on? Oh, wait, we have I Know What You Did Last Summer coming out as a series. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
the ideas have ran out a long time ago, and I don't know what's to blame for that. I don't know if it's like Hollywood just refusing to try something new because they're worried about. Because I think it's the cost of things nowadays. Like you can't just make a show like back in the day. They used to make a ton of pilots and just see what would like throw things against the wall and see what sticks. I think
Yeah.
nowadays you throw something at a wall, it's $2 million down the toilet. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, dude,
It's costly.
It's not as easy to just like make things anymore, and I think that's why they're just relying on our nostalgia to keep making things. But once that starts to fail, then there's gonna be some up and coming guy maybe that's like, here's some new idea, and then we can kind of run from there. Because like we haven't had something that revolutionized TV and movies in a long fucking time. I mean, I guess like the MCU kind of did with like making everything sequential and
The way
like
they put that
the
together, yeah.
overall story. But outside of that, go back 10 years. What the hell has been new?
Yeah.
Man, that's a
I
good
agree with
point.
Tim. It's
Quiet
just,
Place is new.
yeah.
Well, I think
Well, the horror, but hold on, that's the thing though. Horror went through their own like renaissance where they got the Quiet Place. They got what's the Jordan Peele movie?
Conjuring.
Or Jordan
A Way
yeah,
Out
Jordan Peele.
or
Get Out.
Get
Get
Out.
Out.
Get Out, yeah. I mean, he kind of, he came up with a new idea, and like they're going through their own renaissance right now, where
Well,
horror movies are kind
yeah.
of switching up and changing. But
A little bit, but I mean, even Jordan Peele, which I give mad respect to, I think he did an incredible job with Get Out. He just remade Candyman. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
yeah,
it's
that's
another
right.
remake.
Mm-hmm.
But I
So-
think
But
that
there
the
is a young audience
movies,
that hasn't seen the first one, so I mean the original.
yeah.
So
yeah. I think the movies when they come to the system, like to console or PC, when they're made into a game, some of them are done right. But I was just thinking they're all horror. Like Jason was horror, Alien Isolation's horror. Like everyone I think back to that was a movie made into a game, in the past 10 years or 12 years, we'll say, have all been horror games. I haven't seen any, none that I could think of, any action games or anything. I'm even trying to look at my library. I don't have anything you know, that was ported like that. I mean, horror could work. Quiet Place could work. I mean, yeah, they don't talk much, but they could build up the tension with, you know, audio, music, sound effects. Like we've seen it done before. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. The game is planned to be released next year on PC and consoles simultaneously. So it might be might be interesting.
I guess.
Next up, I wanted to throw out another creepy thing I thought was kind of cool. Me and Matt talked about this a little bit. So in Far Cry 6, there's this main bad guy played by Giancarlo Esposito. And so when you play Far Cry 6 and you stop playing it for a while, players have been getting these pushy bullying type emails from Ubisoft in like the voice of the main, you know, bad guy. And their emails, some of the statements are like, "You disappoint me. It was amusing watching you fail." Like they're pretty aggressive emails to try and like push people back into playing the game. Like, what do you guys think about that?
Imagine you're having a bad day at work. Your boss is on your ass. You got like tons of work you're backed up on. The thing you just did sucked, and they're giving it back to you. And then you got Far Cry emailing you saying, "Hey, listen here, you piece of shit. I'm gonna take back this city you've been working towards. I'm taking it back right now, you asshole. Thanks for getting off." Like I would be so unbelievably upset, but I'd probably go on Far Cry and just go kill a bunch of his men.
And be like, I'm gonna get even.
How you like that? And listen, I hope if they you know, these people that are getting the emails, I hope if they go back, finish the game, and say like, stop him or the main villain or whatever, I hope they get another email saying like, you know,
good job,
like running away, or like, hey, you know, you did it, congrats, bud. Like, you know, just a little bit of, you know, finish up on that. Don't just send me the email with hate. Send me the one like admiring me for coming back. And
what do you think about this, Tim? Bullying people into playing your product?
I think it's stupid. I think it's the dumbest thing ever.
You don't like it?
Really?
No, the fact that, yeah, I get that they're trying to be creative to re-engage people, but if you don't want, look, you're worried about re-engaging them, then the game's not good enough. You shouldn't have to re-engage me ever. I don't do that with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Right? It's addicting. Well, so if you're that soft and you're not doing well, maybe you need a better idea.
Well, here's my thing. First of all,
maybe suck less.
Yeah, well, first of all, it's funny because people are divided. Some people, like me and Matt, we thought this was hilarious. Some people out there are like so mad about this. They're like angry.
Put that spin on it, like, how dare you use my email?
Yeah, like some people are really mad about it. My thing is, I'm confused.
Like how many spam emails you get? How many spam emails do you get? You know, what's one of these? You know,
yeah.
Come on.
But I'm confused only because
I like your
it's single player.
I like your point though, Chris or Timmy. Like, hey,
well, I guess it's co-op.
You know, your game should suck less. If you know, maybe I wouldn't stop playing it. It's like it's almost like the clap back to what they're sending you. But like, if you're gonna get mad about the email in general, you're just a douche.
Nah, yeah, I'm not mad about it. I think it's funny.
Nah, yeah.
Here's my thing though. I could understand this from a game like Warzone where they're making money on the microtransactions. They need players in their game to play their game. But this is a single player game. You could play co-op. But like if nobody plays Far Cry, it doesn't matter. I already paid the money to buy Far Cry. So does it really matter if I ever finish it or play it? Like I already gave them my money. Like Warzone, they need me to keep playing so everybody else has players to play against. Whereas Far Cry, they don't need me to keep playing. Like, I just thought it was odd that they're pushing people to play a game. Like, they already got my money. Like, what's it matter to them if I keep playing or not?
Yeah,
strange.
I think it's just like maybe that was just their attempt at being humorous right now.
Well, they got me to laugh.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I just hope no one's really genuinely upset or trying to pursue some kind of action against it. I didn't subscribe if you didn't like it, you know.
I didn't get any emails from them yet. Granted, I haven't skipped out too much.
You've been playing though. You've been playing it. I wonder how. I wonder
here and there.
I
it
wonder
depends.
if it's like the people that got the emails are the people that bought the game, played it once, and haven't gotten a chance to get around to it.
Maybe. In that case, I might be mad. I might be like, go screw yourself. Like, I'll trade this back in and get $20 from GameStop. I don't know. It's interesting. But speaking on Ubisoft still, so this week I read an interesting article about them. And it was a little bit confusing to me. But basically, this was buried way down in one of their like quarterly meetings or whatever they had. And they were saying that they want to implement blockchain in future games. And they want to promote play to earn, where from what I understand is, so anybody that knows about blockchain and NFTs, it basically gives you the rights to digital content. Like you physically own digital content. And I think what they're trying to do, they want you to play their game. And like the more you play, like with Warzone, you play through the battle pass. Well, in Ubisoft games, I think they want you to earn things that you own and you could actually sell for cryptocurrency. It would almost be like the equivalent of like crypto mining, from what I understood.
See,
I'm not
that's
sure about it though.
nerve-wracking, because then what if, like, okay, so a long time ago, my buddy was telling me about this article where this guy put out a crazy, like, it was like a free software you could download to help you with your cryptocurrency or whatever, like help you, mine or whatever. And
Yeah.
it was actually just like a Trojan that was using their computers to mine for him. So like, what if, let's just
What
say
if this is
Ubisoft,
a
they're little bit of the
conspiracy?
game
Ubi's in on it.
where like they take a little bit off the top every time you mine. So Ubisoft's over here just, cranking currency like that.
They might. I don't know. Now, I brought this up to Timmy earlier. So back in the day, our cousin Nick, he used to play World of Warcraft, and he would get his account up so high and then sell it for real money on the internet. And I guess, there was a lot of trust in that, because you got to trust this person sending you the money. You got to trust that, I'm giving them the account and it's real. Now, maybe this is like Ubisoft's way to get in. Like you said, make a little extra off the top, but maybe they can control it. Like say I have a new skin that you want for Far Cry, and you have a new gun I want, and I buy your gun for, a certain amount of crypto. Maybe they create the marketplace that's like safe. You know what I mean? Like you have to put the item in there, and then I have to put the money in there, and then we both get our stuff.
So, being that it's probably the first of its kind, so much room for error.
Oh yeah, so much room for hacking, exploits, like getting
and
ripped off.
You're now bringing real world transactions into a market where kids thrive in, and that's
a good point.
For parents, that's scary for children. Like that's because there's all that gambling controversy, like the CS:GO
with the loot
lotteries and
boxes.
stuff.
Yeah,
the CS:GO lotteries back in the day. These YouTubers and influencers were pushing it because they were making tons of money off of it, and they're pushing it out to children who are taking mom's credit card and fucking buying money and real money and sending that to a chance to get a thing, and they don't get it. So now kids are gambling. So I know that this is a little different because it's a here's my thing for your thing, but it's still, I feel like, in the realm of the same world where.
Well, I mean, we don't know how it works.
Blur those lines, and
they might make you pay Bitcoin for it or whatever, or Dogecoin. I don't know.
I'm sure if it gets to that point, I feel like the United States would shut it down quick. Like I know that they'll get involved if it's something like I like that. Most recently there was this thing called Roobet where, they were offering online gambling, but it's completely illegal in the United States the way they went through it and did it, but it was being advertised here. They're influencers, and it's like the same thing. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime you involve real world currency, the lines get blurred, and they might try to cut corners and shit. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel
what
like
do you think, Tim?
From opinion, yeah. Than
from like a business standpoint, I mean, obviously they want to try and get their hands in as many avenues of money as they can. I don't know if that would help or not.
I don't trust these situations any further than I could throw the company CEO is probably really fat. I just
pockets are heavy.
Yeah, right. Pockets are heavy. No, they're gonna be making mad money off it. It's a power play to make money.
I could see that. I don't know how much they would make, but you're right. They could be taking a cut of everything. Who knows? They might even have sponsored products at one point. Like we saw in Call of Duty, you see Mountain Dew cans and stuff in the game. Like, who knows? They might have sponsors where they sell their items.
It's that, and I do agree with you, Matt. I think it's opening up vulnerabilities to the world, but at the same time, the biggest thing is that they're going to be pioneers. Regardless of them being the last man standing, just like the person that created the microwave, you probably don't even remember who that is. Like maybe they don't stay long term.
But they set the framework.
My understanding, they set the framework. But I think Ubisoft is also struggling, so I think they need to do something that's aggressive, right?
Maybe.
I don't know if they are or not. It's hard to tell.
Maybe the thing they should do is, instead of like spending time trying to figure out how they can take more money out of our pockets, just make a good fucking game. When's the last Assassin's Creed that you played you liked? I
agree.
I like Valhalla. I'm not going to lie. I like that one. Yeah. I didn't think it should have been Assassin's Creed. They should have just made a separate Viking game because it was good. It didn't need Assassin's Creed attached to it.
What was he say? Was Far Cry a Ubisoft game?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
like
think
they
Far
have
Cry
money.
is like the
I don't think
last
they're
of their
hurting.
games where they don't push, all their extras on you. Like I know, remember Assassin's Creed Unity? Like it was complete pay to win. Whenever you buy Unity, the first thing you can do is go into the store and buy all the weapons, like with real money, like and just, you don't even need a rank to them, and they're weapons that, had a greater advantage in it, which only affected just you. Like so, if you decided you wanted to be an overpowered little shit running through the campaign, you could do that. But it's also Ubisoft saying like, hey, the weapons you get in game ain't gonna be that great. Ones you buy from us, we can hook you up. It's like, okay, well, you're just extorting me now at this point because you're offering me garbage here and telling me you can get the good stuff over here.
Yeah, but with the blockchain thing, they said that they want it to be play to earn. So I don't know. Maybe they're just
That's
trying to
so they
open it
want
up
you to
more.
grind, but I
Yeah,
guarantee you
grind
they give you an avenue to like,
to
okay,
to
you could
jump
spend
it.
you could spend dollars over here and get this thing
Yeah.
that'll help you earn faster. That's just how Ubisoft is. Them and EA are the crooks, man.
I don't know. The blockchain thing, I could see that being the future, only because like even like Warzone, like I keep going back to it, but you could have, certain aspects of the battle pass or certain challenges you got to complete, and then
Now, are
somebody
there going to
like
be like
you,
NFT style skins where like only you own that skin?
yeah, and then somebody like say
Okay.
Fran. Fran said he didn't have enough time to rank his gun up the other day. He's like, "Oh, can I pay someone to do that?" Well, maybe he's like, "Hey, I want this skin. I can't get it. Can I buy it off of you?" So I could
That's
see
yeah.
a market for that in the
But
future.
now you're leaving it up to the people to set the economy, you know.
Right. And I think Ubisoft wants to create like the market space where you don't get ripped off type of thing. So I mean, who knows? I guess it's possible. I think it's an interesting framework because we talked about this earlier. I don't know if you were in on the group chat uh, text message before when I sent it out, but somebody actually made a JPEG that sold for like $10 million this year.
hmm hmm
And it was 365 pictures.
Here's what I think
They
is
were all
stupid
put
about those
together and they
NFTs.
had
I
that
know what you're talking
NFT
about.
thing.
I know. Here's
So,
what I think is stupid about NFTs. I know you are the only person that owns that file, right? You're the
yeah,
one guy that has that file in your possession. But
but I
if
could
you put the
screenshot
picture,
it, huh?
but yeah, exactly, I can just screenshot it. And hey, guess what? I have that file now.
Well, that's what I didn't understand because I took a picture, I
Like
sent a screenshot to the group
digital art makes
text,
no
and so
fucking
everyone
sense to
saw it.
me.
Yeah, I don't get
Digital
it
art
either.
makes no fucking sense to me. Like,
Well,
yeah, you own it, but who gives a fuck? I just screenshot it. I own it now.
it's interesting though. It's
Yeah.
something that kind of took me by surprise. It's something I wasn't thinking about at all, and then all of a sudden, this dude in this meeting was just like, "Yeah, we got to get blockchain into gaming," and I was like, "That's weird. Like, I don't know. It's just strange. I didn't consider it." And also, I brought up Forza about the cars and Forza, which Forza 5 Horizon comes out in what, like 6 days or something. It's almost
Yeah,
here.
and the Tuesday after next, yeah, so Tuesday, not this upcoming Tuesday, a week from Tuesday.
But I just wanted to touch on this funny part. So with Xbox, I can pre-install it through Game Pass. I'm sure you can too on PC. So I pre-installed it just for the hell of it. I'm like, why not? Like it's coming out in like 2 weeks. I'm gonna play it. I thought it was hilarious today, right before we started playing. It had a 22 gigabyte update. I was like, what the shit? Like, I didn't even play the game
You know
yet.
what?
And it has a
It might be
22
their,
gigabyte update.
you know what that might be? You know how games come out with their day one patch? It's definitely what that is.
Yeah, but what if there's another patch next week? Like, why did they wait until like 2 days
Yeah,
before? Like, why
no,
are
I
they
agree.
pushing it 2 months or 2, 3 weeks before? Like, I just thought that was odd. All right, moving on to my next point. So this week, it's a little bit different. Razer released an RGB face mask to combat the pandemic. I give them credit. It's one of the cooler looking face masks you can get. It's a like hard face mask that has RGB lights in it and it has replaceable filters. It's called the Zephyr. It looks really cool. It's not super expensive. I think it might be like $100 or $60 or something. But the problem is, right away, it releases, the scalpers buy it up and it's selling for double on eBay. So my question is, where does it end? Like, when will we be done with these scalpers? Like, it seems like no matter what, even the Xbox mini fridge, what was that, 2 weeks ago? It sold out in like a minute. And they were on eBay for like triple the price, like 10 minutes later. Like, how can we beat scalpers? I don't see any way out of this.
It's up to the company to put in securities against the scalpers, and they don't care because if they sell their entire line of that product, they don't give a shit who's buying it. So it's
Yeah.
just up to the companies to.
I can see that. I guess it's just aggravating with like with console sales. Like, don't get me wrong, you want your console to sell, you want the buzz to be big and everything, but like back in the day, I'll never forget. Our cousin Nick, going back to him again, he pre-ordered Xbox 360 in like February or March of the year it came out. And then when it came out, he still had to wait like another month and a half to get his Xbox. And I'm like, that's crazy to me. And that was back then. I mean, we had Xbox One. Now we're on Series S and X. Like, it's never going to end. It's getting worse. Now, even with a face mask, like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. To me, it's just crazy.
Yeah,
They'll
it's
scalp
so
anything
ridiculous.
these days.
Yeah, and it's just it's all the trendy shit too. You just can't win them. There's nothing you
Yeah,
can
and
do. You
the
can't
shame
win.
of it is somebody out there is giving the money. Otherwise, they wouldn't keep doing it. Someone's buying
Mhm.
their PlayStation at $1,200, or buying this face mask at like $300, or that Xbox mini fridge at like $250. Like, I don't know. It's just
Mhm.
crazy to me. Like, I don't.
It's
There's no way out of it.
it's something that's brand new. Like scalping is kind of brand new, and it's just never gonna end at this point. There's money to be made. People will find a way to make it, and they'll find a way to extort people for it.
And those bots are the worst. There's just no way to. There's no way to beat them. Like, it's
Nope.
crazy.
No, I mean unless you use your own buying bot. I know people that use them for shoes all the time, and these
I didn't even know
these
that. I didn't even
companies.
think of that. Yeah, that's a
These
good one.
companies that put out the shoes and shit, there's nothing they can do. They can't stop it. They're just like whatever.
Man. And like, don't get me wrong. I know the companies like it somewhat because they're like, oh, look at all this buzz. Like, nobody can get this. It's the hottest thing ever. But at the same time, the consumer, like me and you, are like, well, go eat dirt. Like, this sucks. Like, I can't even buy it. Like, you still can't even see a PlayStation or Series X on a shelf anywhere in any store.
Nope.
Like,
Nope.
it's just, I don't know. It just seems like
And
it's
I
never
mean,
gonna end.
hey, listen, congrats to Sony for actually giving me an option to like sign up to get one. But
Yeah,
too
I
little,
give
too
them
late,
credit.
bud.
Yeah.
Too little, too late, though, in my mind.
Well, here's the problem. Microsoft and Sony could have both did it in the beginning. Sony kind of did it, and here's what happened, because I signed up for it back then. When the system was planning on releasing, like a month before, they're like, hey, give us your gamer tag, sign up, and if you're selected, you can buy one. The problem was they had such a limited quantity on that. People that, played PlayStation every day of their life on every game, because they vetted the accounts is what they did. So they looked and they seen, okay, like you played 1,000 hours on PlayStation, so you can get one. And me, obviously, I didn't play as much. I play more on Xbox, so I never got picked, which I understand. But they should have just did that for all of them right off the bat. Like, hey, okay, like they're sold out everywhere. You want one from us? Just sign up on here. Instead, like for Xbox, I was sitting there at my work desk, like waiting for like 3 hours for this to come up, kept hitting refresh. And then when it went live, it was chaos. Every website went down. Amazon
Hmm.
didn't come up until like 3 hours later, but I was able to get one. But I had to fight my balls off for like a half hour, hitting refresh, kept having to re enter my information, like all this stuff. It was a nightmare. It's so anxiety inducing. And it's like they could have got around this by saying, hey, Xbox is going to be released in 2 months. Sign up on, this Wednesday and put in your gamer tag and information. And then it'll be a first come, first serve. But then we'll also look at the counts and make sure you're a real person and not just a scalper. Make sure that you actually play our games and, you had your account more than 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a way that these companies could get around that for big items. Obviously, Razer's not going to do it for their RGB pandemic mask. Like, that's not that big a deal. But I don't know. I'd like to see that in the future for the next generation because it's so much anxiety for me. But I got lucky this time. I didn't do it with Xbox One or 360. I waited. But those weren't bad. Like, see, that was the difference. So I didn't buy a 360 or an Xbox One when it first released, but I was able to get them in like February or March. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, here we are a year later, and you still can't get a Series X
I
or a
bought my
PS5.
I bought my PlayStation 4 in the February after it launched, and I got it for the same price. What was it, $400 when it came out? Got it for that. Didn't even have to. I walked in the store. There was 20 of them.
Yeah,
And like I get it.
exactly.
It's the shortage of certain things and certain items. But like, how are we at the point where like there has to, like something has to be going on where these companies are like, huh, you look how many were sold to this point, and you're like, how did this many people have one, but we're still selling out like this crazy? No one buys these consoles like this. What's going on? And it's just scalpers.
But they don't care because they're making the money.
Scalpers. I know.
Like we just said earlier, what is it? Sony sold 13.4 million.
Another
it's
problem
crazy.
is like, my sister's having the issue right now. She's trying to find one for my nephew who wants it for Christmas. She has to get it for him. He's running around telling everybody Santa's bringing it. So she's going to be backed up against the wall all the way until Christmas to like, okay, I guess I got to buy the $700 one off the asshole scalper who bought it last year.
Yeah. And that's also the problem.
Walmart still doesn't have a stop to the bots.
No, they have
insane,
nothing.
Walmart.
It's just floodgates open.
You are the biggest store there is, like grocery chain there is in the country. And you still don't have a way to stop these fucking bots from doing this to you.
No.
It's insane. Like, just hire one guy in IT to put up some form of a firewall to block them.
Yeah,
a capture code is what separates you from being a decent,
But it's a shame because these companies could do it. Like me, I got my Series X through Microsoft. That was the only website that didn't like crash and die when they, put the pre-sales up. But it's like you said, they could have had a simple verification process with like an address or your gamer tag. Like the gamer tag's the easiest one. Like if I'm Microsoft, I could jump on your gamer tag and look and be like, okay, this is a real person that plays video games. Sell him one and block his gamer tag so he can't buy it again.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's it right there.
Yeah, I wish they would do it. I mean, like I said, Sony tried to do it a little bit, but it was too little, too late. Because by the time they said that and announced that, like the floodgates were open. Walmart was already like, hey, why wait till tomorrow? Just buy it today, and messed everything up, and it was a nightmare. And I feel bad for your sister because it is like these parents are jumping through hoops, killing themselves trying to find this. And we're a year later already, and you still can't find one.
My other sister last year, she got lucky. Costco put out a bundle, and she bought the bundle. But she got very lucky. It was 2 weeks before Christmas when she got it. I remember she was telling me, she's like, what do you think I should do? And I was like, look, if he wants it that bad, you're probably going to have to go through an asshole scalper. And I was like, listen, when you buy it, leave him a 1-star review and send him an email saying, hey, dude, thanks for the PlayStation. I hate you. I hope you I hope you get COVID.
But that's the problem. It's like the only way that's going to stop is if people stop paying it. And you got parents out there, which I don't blame them. You love your kids. You want your kids to have this. Or even yourself. It's like the one guy, my friend ran into him at work the one day. And he saw this dude pull up and like run over and run back. And he's like, hey, man, what's going on? And he's like, oh, I just bought this PlayStation. He's like, where? And he's like, oh, I bought it off this dude for $1,200. And he's like, $1,200? He's like, yeah, I just couldn't wait anymore. And it's like you just get people that want something that bad.
Crazy. And like what's crazy is I've been saying this on this podcast for weeks now. For $1,200, you have your barrier to entry for a PC that shits on the PlayStation.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean?
I agree. That's why I would never pay $1 more than retail.
Yep.
It's just crazy. It's like I get people want it, but it's like, man, you're giving in. And
I mean,
these
I'm
other
going
people
through
are
it now
winning.
With graphics cards the same way. Graphics cards are scalped constantly by miners. And, NVIDIA has been putting out these program blocks and stuff to like stop them from mining on their cards, but these miners are just coming up with fixes immediately.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not stopping anything, but I found a graphics card the other day. Best Buy was selling it. You have to get into a line. Best Buy has a good system for it, but it was $860 for this graphics card, and I was like, that is such a nice price. And like retail is $700, but if you can find it for $200 more than retail, you're winning. You're fucking winning.
Yeah, so
they're selling a Newegg right now for $1,500.
And I know you were saying that what was it? Walmart selling it like through third-party vendors. Like you said, your friend's mom bought the PS5.
Yeah, exactly. They're selling through third-party vendors, but they're not even saying, "Hey, this is a third-party vendor." They're making it look like it's Walmart selling it to you. So these people who don't look into this shit like we do are just getting waxed every fucking week, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's tough, man. The retail market, like moving to online, it's easier to shop, but man, it's hard. It's harder when it comes to things like this. Like, you can get ripped off easy, it seems.
Yep.
Anyway, wrapping it up. It's only me and the MatMan left. Then there were two. So the pop question of the week. What was the first console you ever owned?
SNES.
And do you remember what game you first played on it?
Tasmanian Devil.
Really? I had that game.
Yeah, it was my fucking favorite game. It was my favorite Looney Tune. Played the shit out of that. That and the Looney Tunes game, actually. The one, the Looney Toonies or whatever. The one that the baby Looney Tunes, like the blue Bugs Bunny. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's funny.
That one.
So my first console ever was actually an Atari. I don't remember which one though, because I was so young at the time. Like my parents just had an Atari, and
Yeah.
it was Frogger. I remember playing Frogger and trying to get that little thing across the street, and I would get ran over. It was hilarious. And then
Well,
shortly after we got NES, and I don't remember any other Atari games besides Frogger.
I was gonna say, should we wait till next week to give? Because I was gonna say, what's your favorite console from your childhood? That's a good question.
We could
Should
say
we
it
wait to
now.
use that?
No,
I'll
we
do
could say
it
it
right
now
now,
because
'cause-
I
'cause,
was
like, you got
actually
me-
going to
you got
say,
my gears grinding on that.
I was actually going to say my favorite ever was Super NES.
Yeah.
Like I had NES, I wanted
No,
Sega.
wait. I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on a second. SNES, was that the original?
No, NES was the original. Super Nintendo was the
And
second.
the SNES
generation.
was the one. Yeah, that was the one that had like not the block controllers, but the rounded ones.
Yeah, and it
That's
had
the
the
one
top
okay,
loader
yeah, that was
with
my
the
first
two
one.
purple
Okay, I was right.
buttons. Yeah.
Yep. Great.
Yeah, that
It's so-
that was
so
my
much fun.
that might be my favorite. It might be my favorite console of all time.
I'll say the PS2 has my most nostalgia, but my favorite console was the PlayStation 1 because you could
PS2
burn
was
your
good.
games. You could burn
Well,
your games. Do you remember that shit?
Here's another workaround. If you had the network adapter on PS2, you could actually rent single player games from a video store like Blockbuster or whatever was around then. And then you could put them in and actually burn it to the hard drive. And I did it. I'm ashamed. I was a little kid. But I did it with Metal Gear Solid 3. I put it in. I burned it to the hard drive, took the game back, never bought it. But I played through it 3 or 4 times. I
What
love
are
Metal
you
Gear Solid
ashamed
3.
of? I was just gonna get to the point where we used to go to me and my uncle used to go to Hollywood Video. We'd rent 10 games at a time, and we'd burn them all. And I had a fucking collection of PS1 games that were.
See, I didn't know that you could burn the
blank
PS1 games. I
Oh,
feel
yeah,
stupid now.
You had to buy something to read them. But
That's what it was.
My uncle's friend installed them, so like he knew how to install he kept calling it a chip. I don't know what it was, but he would install this thing to read the burned disc.
It was probably a
And,
mod chip. They had them for pretty much every system in the last
Yeah,
20
so
years.
we would just burn every game. I had every PS1 game possible.
That's awesome.
It was so much fun. It was awesome. He eventually figured out how to do something with the PS2 to get like the Hollywood Video style free games, but.
Well,
no, those-
that's how this worked,
those are
though.
probably my two favorite.
So you bought this kit online. Like first you had to have the online adapter, which was like $50. But then you bought this like CD or DVD in the mail for like $20. And what happened was you put this disc in and it would take you to a sub menu of the network adapter. I don't know how exactly it worked, but it had the hard drive in there. And what you did was after you got to the sub menu, you would take the disc out, put in your game, which I had Metal Gear Solid 3. I had others. That's just the one that comes to my mind. And you close it, and then you hit download. And it transferred all the data to like the hard drive on the PS2. And then you had the game. That was it. You could take the game, return it the same day, and you could just play it. There was no like checking the disc or
That's
anything.
awesome.
It just worked.
Hey,
It was great.
the Wild Wild West of video games was a great time.
I know.
Great time
Remember
to be
Game
alive.
Shark?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get to that another time. Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Sorry Timmy had to cut it short. We also lost Fran and Dan this week, but perhaps they'll be back next week. This was Popcast, episode 7. Oh, and be on the lookout for Any Reason to Drink, which Matt is bringing around shortly.
Yeah, keep an eye out for it.
One of these, it was Any Reason to Drink, right? I had it right.
There's any excuse to drink.
Any Excuse to Drink, coming around shortly.